I moved into apartment 13 with excitement and a sense of adventure. It was a beautiful old building, full of character and history. The rent was surprisingly low, but I brushed it off as luck. Little did I know that I was about to embark on a terrifying journey that would test my sanity and beliefs. From the first night, strange things started happening. Unexplainable noises echoed through the walls, and chilling drafts would sweep through the apartment, even when all the windows were closed. I dismissed them as mere quirks of an old building, trying to reassure myself. But as time went on, the occurrences intensified. One evening, I was engrossed in a book when I heard footsteps coming from the hallway. I assumed it was my neighbor until I realized that the sounds were coming closer to my apartment door. My heart pounded in my chest as the handle of my door began to turn slowly. The door creaked open, and I jumped up, expecting to confront an intruder. To my horror, the door swung open on its own, revealing nothing but darkness outside. I slammed it shut and locked it, paralyzed with fear. I called the building's management the next day, convinced that someone had tampered with the locks. The manager assured me that everything was secure and that no one had entered the building. My unease grew, but I had signed a lease and couldn't afford to move out so soon. I decided to stay and confront whatever was tormenting me head-on. The nights became my worst nightmare. Whispers filled the air, faint and barely distinguishable at first, but they grew louder with each passing night. They were unintelligible, like distant echoes from the past. I often felt a chilling breath on my neck, as if someone was standing right behind me, but every time I turned around, there was no one there. One night, as I lay in bed, I saw a faint glow emanating from the closet. My heart pounded as I approached it slowly. The closer I got, the brighter the light became. When I opened the closet door, a blinding light engulfed me, and I felt like I was being pulled into a vortex of memories. I saw flashes of a man, tormented and desperate, trapped in this very apartment. As the visions subsided, I realized that I was not alone. A dark figure stood before me, its eyes glowing with malevolence. The apparition looked like the man I had seen in my visions, but distorted and ethereal. It reached out to me, and I stumbled backward in fear. The figure spoke, its voice echoing in my mind, "You cannot escape my torment. You are now part of this eternal nightmare." I felt an overwhelming sense of despair and anguish. The ghost of the tormented man had latched onto me, and I was now trapped in the same cycle of horror. I knew then that I had to uncover the truth behind this haunting and find a way to break free. Past associated with apartment 13, decades ago, a man named William Hargrave lived there. He was deeply troubled, tormented by his own demons, and his life ended in tragedy. He took his own life within the very walls of the apartment I now occupied. His restless soul was bound to this place, unable to find peace. Armed with this knowledge, I sought the help of a paranormal investigator. We performed seances, hoping to communicate with William's spirit and offer him solace, but instead of finding peace, his malevolence intensified, the haunting grew more aggressive, and my own sanity was slipping away. The investigator urged me to leave the apartment, but I was determined to break the cycle and free myself from this nightmare. I went back to the closet, where it all began, and confronted the ghost of William. I spoke to him with compassion, urging him to find peace and move on. As tears streamed down my face, I begged him to let me go, to end his torment and mine. In that moment, the apartment seemed to shake with a violent force. William's figure contorted, and a guttural scream filled the air. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the haunting stopped. The apartment fell silent, and I felt a sense of peace that I hadn't experienced since moving in. I packed my bags at night and left the apartment for good, I never looked back, and I never encountered anything like that again. The horror of apartment 13 stayed with me. A reminder that some places are forever haunted by the past, and some nightmares can never be forgotten.